Welcome back here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to get into our Prime Inside conversation here on the show. And earlier, I hinted that we've got to take a trip to Seva and check out exactly what's been going on in terms of the water situation over there. And so we want to be getting into it. I have got something that I'm going to play real quick, and then we'll have a conversation around that. But before that, let's say a big thank you to Nutri Snacks for making it possible for us to have a conversation here on Prime Morning. And it's in the market. Everybody loves it. You want to make sure you go get yours as well and enjoy the very best of it. And the kids especially, if they don't have it in their bag, they refuse to go to school. So you make sure that you get it for them and let them enjoy the very best of it. Now, the GRA is actually implementing something that you need to know, and it's the upfront payment policy. The Ghana Revenue Authority, the GRA, has announced the information of the general public, especially importers, that with the passage of the VAT Amendment Act 2022 and at 1082, all importers who actually qualify to register for VAT and have failed to do so will, from on Tuesday, which has happened already, June 6, be charged an additional 12.5% on the customs value of the taxable goods they import. Now, the upfront payment is charged at importation on taxable goods imported in commercial quantities with a value of 200,000 Ghana cedis and above. Please note that the upfront payment is not a new task. It's compliance to actually encourage persons required to register for VAT to actually register and file the tax returns in order to bring parity in the administration of that. So please do note that it's not a new tax. Now, an importer who actually makes an upfront payment may be also allowed to recover the amount when they register and file for their VAT returns as stated in Act 1082. All right, so please do well. If you need any other info, you want to kindly contact GRA on a free number, toll-free number 0800 900 110. Their WhatsApp number is 055 299 0000. You can also contact them on 020 063 1664. You can send an email to info@gra.gov.gh for further inquiries. Thank you so much for sticking and staying with us. Now, Seva is actually located somewhere in Keta Lagoon here in Ghana, and is a district now municipal of Ghana. Now, Seva is one of the islands farming and archipelago of the Keta Lagoon. It covers an area of approximately 2.7 square miles, and this island is important as a bird watching site because it is a stopover point for many migratory birds as well. Now, the town has many attractions such as the sandy beaches, general cleanliness, and also local storytelling in ever. Historians are unable to actually determine a date for the founding of that town, but it's been around for a while, and over 17 years ago, they sourced the water from Anyako, which is some kilometers away, until their system broke down. Access to potable water is a constant struggle, and for individuals living there, it's only a matter of time that they'll realize that they do not have any source of water at all. The residents have to trek several kilometers in search of water. On days, the water actually, is brought to them by tankers into the community. It's very expensive for most locals to be able to afford that as well. Now, my colleague here at multimedia, of course, the venue has put together this beautiful piece from Seva. We wanted to take a look at it. When I come, my guest will be in studio and on Zoom. I'll introduce them to you when we come back after this. Take a look at this.
Seva, a land and its people who remain thirsty although they are surrounded by abundant water on every side.
Chipohlami vava, kakra amenye chivivu, a jalachiama, matentia anyon, matentia allo, tayiweba, nila toma pegaka, a chinyanya kuhinami alagbagba.
Seva is one of the island communities forming the archipelago of the Keta Lagoon. The residents are mostly fisher folks and petty traders. In this village, there's an abundance of food and fish, but the same cannot be said of water available for cooking and drinking. Access to potable water is a constant struggle for the individuals living here. The water that surrounds them is salty. Nursing mothers are forced to reuse dirty water for other chores at home. Residents, including children, have to trek several kilometers to Anyako, a neighboring community, to access drinking water. Some houses have constructed reservoirs to harvest rainwater for their domestic use. They sell what they store to other households. During the dry season, when water is scarce, residents comb everywhere and anywhere for water, including the cemetery.
We went to the cemetery to get water because we don't have water in the house or in the community. So we have to try our best to go there and fetch water, bath, or wash our clothes or our school uniforms. Sometimes we have some water there, but not plenty. If the rain comes, the water, some water, yes, collect there. So it helps us. We know that the water from the cemetery is not good, but we don't have any option. So we drink it or use it to cook.
The water problem in Seva is a major concern to everyone, especially the chiefs and elders. In places like Seva, even the underground water is sometimes salty, making nonsense of any attempt to drill a borehole. So attempts by the community folks to construct boreholes were not fruitful. Dumaga Achu Amese is one of the elders here at Seva.
Uno frame na mi alagbagba mi zawagba a borehole aba tapaton ka kame kra chinyara kan da ci son ikomi ntamia akpona ko ko chinyara ka ba sare fifio.
At the slightest downpour, the only road submerges, cutting off the community from the main town and making it impossible for tankers to get water into the town.
Na pori rimuko de me dochia ovana hafie zana amali tarakana ko foga ma reka 1 cedi emi zane onye mi ka tere mi sabadwoji gawa bibito atagaro fifia mi mo hagban
achia chochofia. Over here,
clean drinking water is a luxury, a precious commodity which must be used very well. Several appeals to the local and central governments to connect the Seva village to the national water grid have only attracted empty promises.
I'm a shamaka vadu, I'm a no chain, yenye MP. Me come ya pomo. Amo do klechinya ro fon kuma. Una na mi kakara jibana yo ya yo ron kumiaji. Kaka no ya mi sanyara ko. Kuma gbo ba pa ma anya taru na mi. Awoni ba ro ya ma chan ya mi no livi limba mi ga yin ha changa fia. No ya o ben lo mi ba.
Afifia bagare remo. Assemble o do na okata o gbogbo na mi ba common fan mava na yo yire na ka wogana miu ya ko mi ha tole je lo ba na gbogbo na to mi adado ko won o le mi to mi no ashitrom afia no na no romro ko anya mi ka adafu na mi sabato ala gbagba.
Access to safe drinking water is recognized as a fundamental human right by the United Nations. Marginalized communities along the Keta Lagoon, such as Seva, Anyako, Konu, Apegame, Wata, Bota, Atigati, Abome, and Lashibi, have an approximate population of 20,000. Government must take a human rights-based approach to water and sanitation improvements so that no one is left behind. Emmanuel Jivenu's report for Joy Prime.
And a very big thank you going out to Emmanuel Jivenu for putting that special project together, and its first premiered here on Prime Morning. And that's where our conversation will be centering this morning here on the show. So Benjamin Franklin, philosopher, once said, when the well's dry, we will know the worth of water. A typical example of what we've seen over the period when it comes to water and how important it is in our lives, and what actually it takes, you know, to be able to preserve that. Several other places are going through the same issues, and it looks as if that humans ourselves are destroying the water bodies and making it look like it's not important to us anymore. But like it is said, when the well's dry, we definitely will know the worth of water one day. In the studio with me this morning, I've got the privilege of having in studio Mr. Samson Ahele-Tete. He is the head of programs Water Aid Ghana, and he's joined us here in studio to have this conversation. Say good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Great. Good to have you on the show. We're grateful that you made time for us this morning. Great. We're also going to be joined on Zoom by two very important persons as well. And on Zoom, we're going to have Mr. Wisdom Siede. He's the assemblyman for Seva, Konu, Anyako. He's also actually on your screen right now. We're also going to have on the Keta MP, who is in the person of Honorable Kwame Jujoli Gake. He's also going to be joining us this morning for us to have that conversation as well. So let me go on Zoom and see if we've got the assemblyman over there. Mr. Wisdom, if you can hear me. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me? Unmute your microphone if you can hear me so we can also hear you. Yeah, it's around where you're looking at. Hello? Okay, so we're having a bit of difficulty on that, but we're going to try as much as possible and connect with him so he can also join us here on the show. But let me come to you, studio. So, watching this,
Yeah.
Are you broken somehow?
Well, I mean, given the background of what I do, not broken at all. We have many of such instances.
I can only imagine.
Within the nation Ghana. Of course, when you travel out of Accra, then you see how deprived most communities are in accessing basic human rights like water, sanitation, and hygiene. This is a common occurrence in the nation Ghana. Just that it has not come to the public view of many people. But then there are many communities that spend hours in trying to access potable water. And where we have got into, I don't think that is what should be happening to us as a people in this nation. So we need to rise up, move beyond talking and giving figures and no action to back what we are saying. A lot of people do not have access to potable water, decent toilet, and appropriate hygiene in this nation, Ghana. Yes.
Very interesting. If you just join us here on the show, let me try as much as possible to engage you in the conversation as well. So those of you watching, if you've got any of that experience you want to share with us, if you're also in Seva and you're watching right now, you want to share your views with us with respect to what is happening over there, or any other parts of the country where you've got deprivation of water, potable water, you can also send us your messages and let us know what you think about the situation. Is it dire in your place of region? It could be any region, so just let us know which region, which community that is facing that water crisis, and let's see how best we can all expand the conversation here on the show. Our WhatsApp line is on your screens, and you can also do so on social media as well, and we'll be more than glad to read from you, especially those in Seva, if you're watching this morning. So how dire is this situation across the communities? Is it far from Accra, where we believe that, well, we are not too deprived, but we're also facing some issues when it comes to water?
Well, it's some are far. I have worked extensively in the northern part of Ghana.
Okay.
So the then northern region, which now makes up Savannah region, you talk about northeast, and then the northern region, and then of course upper west and upper east. I have worked extensively in these regions, and that is the situation. But I tell you, within Accra, Greater Accra region, you still have people suffering for water. Yes, we've had beyond Amasaman and Co, where we have dealt with the issue of Borili ulcer because of the kind of water that people are accessing. So it's a common thing, and I think as a nation, we should be able to deal with these things. Just that government, when you look at the percentage of GDP that is assigned to wash, it's nothing to write home about. In fact, other sectors, we have the Ministry of Sanitation, water resources. And then, so when you begin to look at the budget that government assigns to other ministries, that is the list you can talk about. So it has been the development partners who in time past and continue to invest in the area of water sanitation and hygiene, but government has not really done much investment in that regard. And
when you look at the issue of water, I mean, like, we all know what it means to have water and what it means not to have water. Is it not a bit disappointing that a government would not be putting some sort of emphasis on ensuring that people have potable water?
So government is doing something, but I think as a people, the local government authorities, you know, what we call the assemblies. The issue is that investment is made, and then because of lack of sustainability, we run back to ground zero. So when you drill, for instance, boreholes as a source of potable water, you are using a mechanism to lift up the water. Now, this mechanism will break down at a point. So when you don't put in place measures in terms of how do we sustain it, if a pump breaks down, do I have the money to buy the parts and repair so that I can continue to extract the water? I mean, that is the least level. You move to mechanized systems where you are either using the national grid, or you are using solar, or you are running by generator, all these services requires money to maintain them. So we have the operation and maintenance cost, which must be factored in. Then you also come to the replacement cost, where parts are being replaced when they get damaged, because everything has a lifespan. So what has happened over the time is that we call it life cycle costing.
Okay.
So it's like, this is the life cycle of this facility. So you built in that cost that by 2 years, I need to replace this phone. So I'm making provision towards that. I will not sit down, allow the phone to run out, and now I'm now looking for resources.
Which has always been the case, by the way.
That is it. That is how we have operated, and that is why we are where we are. We could have gone beyond this stage, but no proper costing when it comes to our wash facilities. And that is the major issue that we need to deal with, and then we can have progressive development as far as wash is concerned. We are talking about reaching the SDGs. I think 7 years more, and 2030 is here.
It's here.
And look at what we are seeing.
And day in and day out, there are conversations around it. Or we are looking at getting to this by year 2030. It's not as if we're forgotten.
No.
We know it is here. It will come. But yes, still, the most important things that we're supposed to do to ensure that 2030 will have a glorious story, we're not doing it.
Yes. I will just go back. I mean, Jesus once told a story. He said, which of you seeking to build a house will not sit down to consider that with this I'll be able to finish? If you don't do that, you start, then you stop in the middle, and people will laugh at you. So planning is the key thing we need to look at, so that we can do costing. So can we clearly say district assemblies do have the midterm development plans, and then their annual plans? What do we have inside there? If you look at Seva community we are talking about, this is not yesterday's problem.
17 years.
17 years. So within 17 years, why have we not been able to hook them onto the Ghana Water Company lines? 17 years. You see, the Bible, by wisdom, a house is built. It's not money. Anytime you talk to people, oh, we don't have money. But you see, the moment somebody's first excuse is we don't have money, it tells you he has no plan.
That's from the government.
Of course, and somebody will say, the government is the people.
Well,
you see, it's all of us. I mean, what measures have been put in place? They've had assembly members come and go. MPs come and go. It's a gradual process. You see, we cannot have things, no money is sitting anywhere. So we just have to have costed plans. Then we know that, I mean, this amount will be able to finish first phase, second phase, third phase. Then we are solving the problem. But as long as we are taking ad hoc measures, we cannot have sustainability. And these people are in the midst of water and yet thirsty, because the lagoon is salty. The lagoon is salty. And we cannot talk about desalination. I mean, there are different forms of desalination. We cannot talk of reverse osmosis. These are methods of treating water. It's too expensive compared to getting them onto Ghana Water Company line. And from the documentary, we were talking about 20,000 people in this area. Obviously, it's also a tourist attraction place. With
the birds watching all that.
Thank you. So putting that investment will certainly yield
the return.
Exactly. And also, even if we are not getting any return, these people have the right to access water, sanitation.
We'll speak about the infringement when it comes to the rights of these people. We're going to get into that conversation, but let me see if we can establish connection with the MP, the Honorable MP, Mr. Gakpe, if you can hear us. Honorable, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing well, and good morning to your listeners and viewers.
Great. Honorable, we're grateful that you're able to join us this morning. This morning, we're putting the spotlight in your area, Seva, which is an island that seems to be struggling with potable water. There's a documentary that our team over here have been able to put together. We've shown that to the viewers and want to seek a few, contributions from you. And so this morning, we're grateful that once again you've joined us here on the show. But your constituents are very unhappy about how they are having to deal with the struggle for potable water over 17 years. I don't know if this has come to your table. Obviously, yes, but if it has, and you have tried to work around it, what exactly have you done about it?
Thank you very much. And I think the water situation is not 17 years. It's even more than 17 years.
My goodness.
I mean, and then it's not only Seva. It is the three twin community is Anyako, Konu, Seva. Those are the three communities under the Keta constituency currently suffering from water.
Not to catch you, Honorable, but are they close to each other, the few communities you mentioned?
They are very close. So you pass through. So if you want to extend water right now, it will pass through Anyako, from there to Konu, from there before Seva. Okay. So these are the three communities. And then questions have been filed in Parliament with regards to draw the central government attention to it. And then these people have, I mean, since I was born, they have no water. Maybe if they have water, I don't know. But for me, what I know about Anyaku, Konu, Seva, these three communities, for time immemorial, they are not having water. Though the water, they are surrounded by water bodies. They are surrounded by Keta Lagoon. But at the end of the day, Keta Lagoon is very salty. Elsewhere, other countries elsewhere, they will even use that water as a potable water, where they will put system in place. Yeah. And then the cost involved is not a small cost. So it needs central government intervention. That is the only way this water problem can be rectified. Okay. And then the people have to, day in, day out, they have to resort to buying water. You know, the 4 gallon, the yellow gallon. Yeah. Now it's costing them like 1 cedi. Some of the places 1 cedi, 50 pesos. We as an MP, sometimes we only have to intervene by contracting those who bring water to bring the. How long will you continue that? And how long can you intervene? And this is the situation in which we are.
Honorable, you mentioned about interventions. Have we made an attempt? If we did, what was the response from central government or the quarters that were some of these things were addressed to? They claim they will work on it, and then on our own as a member of parliament for the area, my previous members of parliament have started some work. They were able to get land at Heluvi, where the water source borehole, and then the water is very good, very tasty water, where we have actually bring in the professionals, and then they actually went in and then do water analysis and everything, and everything. The results shows that there is a lot of water underground there, and then I have actually mechanized it and then put polytank on it for the people of Heluvi as I speak. That water can be extended to Anyako, Konu, and Seva. But the cost involved in terms of laying the pipe is about 5 kilometers. And then that cost cannot be borne by MP. And then it is a central government intervention we are looking for. So as I speak to you right now, I have found another person in Parliament with regards to Anyako, Konu, Seva water program. Honorable, just so for the purposes of our viewers and maybe some benevolent people who may want to help, how much are we looking at in terms of the cost involved? Because you mentioned that about 3 times now. How much are we looking at from where you sit?
Basically, when you look at the system they need to put in place, it will cost us less than 10 million Ghana cedis.
10 million Ghana cedis for 3 communities to have access to potable water.
Yes, yes.
But that's really is not something that we can provide. Or the government can provide 10 million for 3 communities.
Something 10 million to 20 million Ghana cedis. I mean, they can do that. It's about from the mechanized point of view. That's what I'm saying. Because there is a 5-kilometer stretch, and then we need only pipe that will pass through the underground all the way through the 3 communities, and then they have potable water. But fortunately for us, the overlaw of the area, Tongi, engage with Tukligi, is trying. We are working together, trying to do something. So we are trying to see whether we can get some pipe lay them. So that's what we are working on also. So through your medium, people who are benevolent, people, NGOs, those who are indigenous, who have that feeling that our people should get water, then we are appealing to them to come to support us in terms of this cost, because without the water is life. As I speak to you, water is life.
You just put my mind, actually.
You can't do anything. And then because of that, they have to resort in areas or places that are not hygienic to fetch water, which is not right.
Like the cemetery, for example. They collect water from the cemetery.
And the only time you see them getting relief, as I speak to you, even as I speak to you, the road leading to Seva is also another problem. What the Keta Lagoon have taken over the road, and now access to the community in terms of even sending water is a problem now, because the road is not motorable, because the road is in between the Keta Lagoon, and then they have provided some defense wall where they use quarry stone to fence it. Now the quarry stone gradually is screening away. At the end of the day, the Keta Lagoon have overflowed each bank, and they have taken over the some portion of the road. And as I speak to you, even sending water to people of Aleppo is now a problem, because the road is not even friendly, the road is not even motorable for them to send the water.
I see. Honorable, this is a serious issue. I'll get back to you. We'll look at the amount involved and how much of a disappointment this can be in terms of even the people in the community. We're looking at 3 communities, and if that amount is able to give water to these 3 communities, I don't think it's a big deal for us to do so. But I'll get back to you. Now, Mrs. Tete, this is intriguing. 10 to 20 million Ghana cedis, as compared to the human rights of these people. Are we not infringing on their human rights to potable water?
Well, it's an infringement, but then also you can't give what you don't have. And I'm glad that...
It doesn't look like it's something we don't have.
You see, the honorable member said the problem is over 17 years.
Yeah, he's been compared that to since he was born, and that's a long time.
Exactly. But I'm happy some progress has been made. For instance, though on that particular Seva island, the groundwater, according to the documentary, is salty. They have found water at a distance, 5 kilometers.
Only need a pipe to connect.
Exactly. In rural areas, Community Water and Sanitation Agency is responsible for water supply in rural areas. I don't know what engagement they've had with this mandated authority as far as government is concerned. This cost that is mentioning, is it coming from Community Water Sanitation Agency?
Okay.
Thankfully, the water quality has been assessed. The borehole characteristics is known in terms of the yield.
Okay.
And from what he's saying, then it should be able to supply water to the people. And this, I don't think, is too much a big project. Not at all. Not at all. For us to sit down for 17 years. So clearly, it's not a priority. And you see, yes, central government, yes. But you see, we also have to rise up and do things for ourselves. Yes. And like we said, 17 years. Now we've made some headway. We know where we can get water from. We have an idea of the cost.
Yeah.
We just have to begin to take them step by step. For instance, it's sort of, we are using your medium so that NGOs and benevolent society to come. The question is, we as a people, how much have we mobilized for ourselves? And what is the gap for others to fill? You see, when you take that step, people are willing to help you because you are trying to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
But when it's like, oh no, we are waiting for you to come and help us, it becomes a bit difficult. You don't really get people coming in. But also, this is what we've been able to mobilize. Like he has clearly said, oh, we've identified the borehole, this. And then the paramount chief is trying to put these figures together. I say, okay, this is what we have. This is the gap. Even if you central government, this is what we have. This is the gap. Can't you do something about it? I think you have a stronger case than starting from the scratch.
Yeah. Anyway, now we're going to get into some of the messages. We'll be wrapping up very shortly, but we're going to get into some of the messages that have come up. I'll be wrapping up with the Honorable very soon as well. Now, this one says, good morning. It's more than 17 years that the community Seva didn't enjoy any potable water. I think it's time for the government to do something about it. And that's from Anthony Amesi, who sent in that one. The messages keep trickling in. Let me see if we can get a few of them. This one of us here says, good morning, KMJ. Katoy in the Gometse Zioke district, forgive me if I didn't mention that right, is also having the same challenge. We don't have potable water. Now we are buying the river Tozi, which is 1 cedi 50 pesos per gallon. And that's how they are also dealing with the water issue over there. Another one over here says, Seva as a community has really done well as a community. I come from Seva too, but to be truthful to you, now this few towns needs government or anyone who can help. The situation is very bad at Seva as you're seeing it. So speaking for Seva and 3 other communities that are also there. I'm Pascal from Seva. This problem persists for so many years. All stakeholders and NGOs watching now should help us get out from this situation. And lots of them coming through, and they all seem to be coming from Seva. Good morning. This is Tosu Godfred from Seva community, rural area. We have been suffering from the this water problem since I was born. Please, we need help from the government. I would have been happy if you added your age to it, so at least we know the Another one over here says, good morning, Mr. Host. Thank you for bringing our problem to the attention of the authorities. And that's Israel Goka, obviously from Seva as well. They keep coming in. This one is a very long one. I don't know. Let me see if I can do well to read some part. This one says, good morning, Joy Prime. This is Hohoi Zongo Road, the main highway from Zongo to the next town, which is the gateway to Oti region, Central Kofi. The road is very terrible to apply. Heavy trucks from the north and Oti regions apply this road, and it makes driving difficult. Some ends breaking the vehicle, others pack for the wetting road to get dry before they continue. This results to damaging of raw produce from the north part of the country. Citizens are very upset about this situation and planning to embark on a demonstration and blocking the road as well. Reporting from the Volta region, my name is Andy in Hohoi. So Andy sent in another relatable issue which has to do with roads. I mean, Honorable even mentioned over there that the roads are also another problem. This one says, good morning. Thank you for bringing this issue. We are too grateful. Please let the government please list the government should do something about our water problem and our road, especially our MP. Okay, so they keep coming, but let me get to Honorable and try and wrap up with him. Honorable, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I know this will be very disappointing for the people in the various communities. Now, what message are you sending to them to just give them hope so that they don't think that really nobody cares about their situation at all?
Oh, definitely we care about them. As I speak to you, I keep on telling you that this water problem have been there ages, and then I can tell you before some of us were born.
Evidently so.
It's not there. And then it was some of us were born, and I'm now 48 years. So
I can only imagine
the problem. Yes, so 17 years is not even accurate. It's more than 17 years.
Wow.
And then we are able to, locate water now. We are able to do something about it. And then, fortunately for us, the water from Sugar Copper River passes through some of my communities through the Keta Lagoon, some part of the River, which the location where they can tap the water to these communities too is a little bit far, but not far, where the government can intervene. And then we get regular water supply. But that water passes through those communities to Keta, where they have potable water. And then some part of the Lawishima, Mamima, Aguji areas also have potable water. So these are the only 3 communities under the Keta constituency have been suffering. And then when you look at the population too, a lot of people are there. When you look at the population, a lot of people are there. And then they have been struggling with water. And then, as a matter of fact, it's their right, human right. We are infringing on their right because they are right by the central government to provide potable water for each and individual in the country. So we have infringed on their right for long, and it is time we rise up and do something better for them. And we, as an MP, these are the tools available for us to use to advocate for the people, and we are doing exactly that. And then, as I mentioned earlier on, we are able to locate the water in one community, which is a little bit closer to them. I have mechanized that water for the people, and they are also getting water now. And then the water, the experts have tested the water, and they have seen a lot of water underground there, which can save the 3 communities. So we are calling on all to help us so that our people for so long have potable water. Because water is life. And then I speak to water, as I speak to, they don't have water. They will go in for fetch water from elsewhere, which will even be injurious to their health. That's basically what
and that would obviously bring another issue of health issues. Then you have to go and spend money at the hospital again to ensure that that person is well taken care of. Obviously, we can do ourselves a lot of good than where we are right now. Honorable, let me say a big thank you to you for joining us this morning. We're most grateful for your time as well.
I'm also most grateful to you.
Great. And that's the Honorable Kwame Jijo Lee Gakpe. He's the MP for Keta, speaking to us this morning. In studio, we had over here the man who's been helping us understand the issues from the water aid perspective, and speaking to the issues. Many thanks to you for coming through this morning to help us do this. Now, some of the messages over here, I'm sure this will be your takeaway, your takeaway message. This one says, Bismarck Koka says, good morning. This government should focus on solving the mess it has caused the country and stop the witch hunt. Even if Jaji Kwesi is jailed before the day of the election, he will still win in the upcoming by-election. This is Shogologo government should do the needful. That's Kuka Bismarck sent in that. Thomas Kobe says, Seva has all the clean waters around itself, but it is useless since the lagoon is salty. And it will just take a matter of machine sort this tasteless, whatever salty problem, and we're good to go. But unfortunately, that cannot even be done in the first place. But, well, like we've all said, we're going to get better from here, right? Great. But let me say a big thank you to you for coming here and helping us understand this issue. Now, Mr. Samson Ahele-Tete is the head of programs, Water Aid Ghana, and I'm sure in the coming days, we're going to have him over here. It's our collective responsibility to solve this issue. So you will help us.